Good morning, respected ma'am, and all my dear classmates. Today I am going to show you all a video on how the digestive system and our nervous system works in a perfect coordination to keep us alive and to give us a perfect stomach. The coordination starts even before the food enters our mouth. This is called the cephalic phase. As soon as we think, smell, or see food, our nervous system sends signal to our digestive glands and they start preparing their secretions. At this time, our stomach is already one third filled with gastric juices. After the process of mastication, when we swallow the food, the soft palate blocks the opening of the nasal chamber. This happens only because the sensitive nerves present on the soft palate sense the bolus and signals the soft palate to close the opening. This also happens with the epiglottis. When the bolus enters the esophagus, the nerves of the esophageal tissue sense the bolus and trigger peristaltic movement, pushing it downwards. When the bolus enters the stomach, the nerves of the gastric tract sense it and then they signal the hormones. The hormones simultaneously trigger the release of acids and enzymes, which start to dissolve the food and break it into simpler soluble substances. These hormones also alert the other glands such as pancreas, liver, and gallbladder to keep their secretions ready and transfer bile into the small intestine. We can now see the food entering our stomach. Notice the secretion starts instantly, giving us a knowledge of how well communicated the digestive and the nervous system are. These are the muscular contraction of the stomach happening, which churns the bolus and helps in its breakdown. This happens only because the orbiax nerve plexus or mesenteric nerve plexus order the circular and oblique muscle of our stomach to do this. And even the mesenteric nerve plexus order the same to the submucosal layer of our stomach. The bolus, now called chyme, enters the small intestine. Now see how this process looks in real life and enjoy it. After the absorption in jejunum and ileum, the chyme, now called stool, enters the colon. Here, all water and fibers left are absorbed, and the stool is squeezed into the rectum. Here, the nerve sense the rectum expanding and reports it to our gut brain. When it reaches a limit, the information is passed to our brain through the vagus nerves. And then we get under pressure. And our pressure is released after the stool exits our body through the anal canal. Our food's 30 to 40-hour journey comes to an end finally. Here is a detailed explanation of nerves in the small intestine sending signals to our brain.
Once eaten, digested food particles enter the small intestine, which is covered with a velvety layer of villi. Each villus is lined with a single layer of epithelium. This layer is made up of different cell types. One of them, the enteroendocrine cell, is unlike the others. It is our gut sensor. In addition to communicating through hormones, we discovered that enteroendocrine cells also synapse with nerves, including the vagus nerve. We call those enteroendocrine cells synapsing with nerves neuropod cells. They sense and react to their environment. They sense mechanical, thermal, and chemical stimuli such as nutrients or bacterial bipod lumen. Inside neuropod cells, signals from stimuli are converted into tiny electrical pulses. These pulses propagate via synapses onto the afferent neuron of the vagus nerve. Vagal neurons carry the sensory information to the brainstem, linking the signals generated inside the small intestine to the brain. The neuropod cell connection with the vagus nerve serves for food in the gut to influence brain function within seconds. This connection is also a potential portal for gut pathogens to access the brain. This new knowledge is a foundation for designing therapies to treat disorders related to altered gut-brain signaling.
I hope after watching this video you were able to understand how our digestive system and our nervous system works together, how they work in a perfect combination to keep us all fit and alive. I would like to thank Sunita ma'am for giving us such a wonderful holiday homework.